The report found that in 2023, the very first year, the tax burden would increase by $16.7 billion on Americans making less than $200,000 per year. Another $14.1 billion will be borne by taxpayers earning between $200,000 and $500,000 per year. And during the 10-year period, the average tax burden would increase for nearly every income category. And when you get to the point at the end of the 10-year period, the entire burden, half to two-thirds of the entire burden of this new tax revenue would fall on those earning less than $400,000. That's the reality, regardless of the games that are being played in terms of describing what the taxes are on. The administration has been very careful to say that, we aren't raising the tax rates of anybody under $400,000, but everybody in America knows that when taxes are charged, some people end up carrying the burden of those taxes. This tells us where that burden falls. That burden comes, by the way, because in the corporate tax field, the impact or the incidence of the corporate tax is passed on to workers, to capital, which means to those who own the stock, people trying to invest for their retirement in a pension plan or a 401k plan, and in price increases to the economy.
So when Republicans spent the last week making everyone in America think that their personal income taxes would go up with the Democrats' new reconciliation bill, they were lying? You don't say. This is Republican Senator Mike Crapo admitting that no one's tax rates will go up, which is what Republicans are desperately trying to convince you is going to happen. In reality, here's what the report that they're leaning on actually says. The Republicans on the Joint Committee on Taxation have suggested that taxpayers making less than $200,000 per year would see their taxes raised by $16.7 billion over a decade. That makes you think that your taxes are going up, right? Well, that's on purpose. In reality, they're not suggesting that your taxes will rise because of any actual tax increase. Those Republicans are claiming that by virtue of imposing a 15% corporate minimum tax onto billion-dollar corporations, they think it's possible that those corporations could pass off those costs onto workers and shareholders. That's all. In other words, this is just a guess about passing off costs. A guess that Republicans are making you believe means that your personal income tax rates are going to rise. They're not, and those Republicans know that, but their only goal is to manipulate you. But consider this. If companies do ultimately pass costs off to workers and shareholders, why wouldn't Republicans call out the billion-dollar corporations that don't think they should pay a dime in taxes? Why are Republicans carrying water for billion-dollar companies and making everyone else think that a bill that, for once, seeks to make them pay their fair share is somehow a bad thing? If you're a billion-dollar corporation paying nothing in taxes, think about what a gift Republicans are to you. All Democrats have to do is try to introduce legislation making them pay their fair share, and then immediately, like clockwork, Republicans descend onto the airwaves, quite literally doing their bidding and warning that if those corporate tax dodgers have to pay taxes, that'll just mean higher prices for consumers. And so don't even try it. Don't even try to make those massive tax dodging companies pay $1 more. But sure, Republicans are for the little guy. Got it. So if you're wondering why the system seems rigged, all you have to do is watch those Republicans falling over themselves trying to scare the shit out of people because Democrats are doing something that is popular and moral by requiring companies with over $1 billion in profits to pay a minimum of 15% in taxes. Even that's too much for these Republicans, apparently. And by the way, charging billion-dollar corporations that pay nothing in taxes is overwhelmingly popular, including with 72% of all likely voters and 59% of Republicans. Imagine that being the hill that you die on. Being the party that's seeking to not only protect mega-rich corporations that skirt taxes even while the rest of us have to pay them, but then doing so by lying about it. If you were looking for any proof as to where the Republican Party's priorities lie, you just got it. So the next time you hear a Republican claim that this desperately needed bill is raising your taxes, all you have to do is listen to Mike Crapo, who accidentally revealed the truth and admitted that your tax rates aren't going to change. Although I can guarantee that that's the last Republican who will ever allow that part to be said aloud. Before you go, couple things. First, if you want to support my work, the best way is to subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. And second, if you want to see and hear more from me, check out my website, briantylercohen.com. That way you can get links to my podcast, merchandise, ways to donate to voting rights organizations, and so much more. The thumbnail is also right here on the screen, so go check it out. And as always, thank you so much for watching.